I don't know about this one, guys. This is a pretty ambitious one. Let's see how it goes. Hey, thank you. Welcome. Appreciate you joining us for another one of our Slant Alpha adventures, and this should prove to be quite the adventure tonight. Doing something pretty, as I said, ambitious. I think another word for that is insane. But I'm working with a friend of mine who works the virtual New York, I should say, air traffic control center in VATSIM, and he suggested that we give a shot at flying some of the cool flights, general aviation flights that you can do in the New York area. So we're going to go ahead and give that a try. It should prove to be rather interesting. And we've got great VFR weather going on right now, even with real weather engaged, which I love because I really dislike simulating different weather than what's going on around me, because I know that that can pose a problem for the controllers when I'm doing something contrary to the traffic flow patterns that they have working. So great VFR weather now. And we should be fine to do what we're doing without bending too many aspects of reality. I published a plot that you can put into SkyVector, and I published that on the Discord channel. I published that on the YouTube under the discussion tab. I published it on Facebook, and I published it on Twitter. So you've got no excuse not to have it if you want it. But the route that I've plotted, it includes some DME references to VORs, and it includes some GPS points. Let me explain to you what all of that is, and give you the plan for this evening. Okay, so we're departing from origin and destination is the same tonight. We're departing from and arriving back at Puppy. It is not time to play ball right now, dude. I'm on the air. I'm going to be in the air. He wants to bite at my mic cord. Okay, well, if my mic comes popping out of my PC, we'll know who is to blame. Furry co-pilot number 1. Anyway, so we're departing and arriving back at Republic Airport, which is a general aviation-based and I guess maybe corporate executive airport that's east of the New York area. It's east of Kennedy and LaGuardia, and it's west of Islip on Long Island. I guess I should say Long Island MacArthur, which is colloquially referred to as Islip, although I hear that some people hate that. But anyway, it's so it's kind of halfway between Kennedy and Islip, and so here's where we're starting. It's kind of on the fringe of the New York Class Bravo airspace. We're going to depart there. We're going to head south, and this first point here is a DME arc reference off of Kennedy. We're probably going to end up heading due south and picking up the coastline like that. So I guess I'll add that point in there, just to maybe give a better representation of what we're doing. But head south, pick up the coastline, fly west. Then we're going to pick up the, what did I make this? The 10 DME arc around Kennedy. And we're going to be able to go up to 1,400 feet. You can see the 70 over 15. That means this slice of the New York Bravo. And by the way, I'm looking at the New York terminal area chart, New York TAC. So we've got the ability to zoom in and get a little bit more detail than you would on the regular VFR chart. So up here's the regular VFR. And that's as close as we can zoom in there. But if we go to the TAC chart, you can see, it's a much lower scale chart. So we've got a lot more detail. But anyway, so this section of the Class Bravo, we can go up to 1,500 feet and stay below it, out of it. So that's what we're going to do, probably 1,400 feet. We'll go westbound. We'll pick up this 10 DME arc around Kennedy, and we'll track that around, not quite to that point. Let's go ahead and delete the 270 one. Because once we get to the 240, we're pretty much at that point proceeding direct to the Verrazano Bridge. And what happens at that point is kind of neat. It's a VFR corridor that takes you right up the Hudson River, right through the center of the New York Class Bravo. If you're at or below, or sorry, I'm sorry, if I should say if you're below, not at, but if you're below 1300, it's actually outside of the Bravo airspace. It's below this lowest shelf. You can see again, 70 over 13, and if you follow this all the way down, 70 over 13. Now, the boxed line, the line with the little squares on it, does indicate that it's got some, it's called a special flight rules area, so it does have some special requirements, but those pieces, that little piece of airspace is going to essentially, be something that you can fly through without being inside the Bravo. Now, the description of what that is on this chart here, New York Skyline. If you go at or above 1300, you're on the Skyline route, which is the same thing. You go up the river, but you have these reporting points, and you're supposed to well, let me say it right. If you're below 1300, you have these mandatory reporting points on a CTAF channel, a Common Traffic Advisory channel, what VATSIM would call Unicom. If you're above 1300, you're in the Bravo, and you're just talking to air traffic control. So they'll be keeping track of where you are. If you're northbound, you can see the red arrows indicate that if you're northbound, you should be hugging the east shore closest to Manhattan Island. And if you're coming southbound, you should be hugging the west shore closest to New Jersey. And that kind of helps the it reduces the possibility that you're going to conflict with other traffic. You're still VFR, so you're still trying to see and avoid. But anyway, so that's the idea: is that if you follow the correct coast for direction of travel, you should, for the most part, stay out of conflict with other traffic. You can see some of these visual reporting points that are along the way, and I've installed into my X-Plane installation a VFR New York package that I found, a freeware VFR New York package that includes, hopefully, some of these reporting points. So we'll see how much of these we actually see. But once we get north of the Skyline route, my plan then is to, let's go back to the TAC. My plan is to get north of this line here, which is the 11 DME arc. At that point, we can climb from 1500. We're going to do the corridor at 1500. Then we'll climb up to 2900. We'll be below this shelf of the Bravo, which starts at 3,000 feet. Okay, here's the 70 over 30 here. It says so. This 2,900 feet is below this shelf of the Bravo. And if we follow a 13 DME arc around this way, we'll be out of the Bravo and we'll be out of the Delta for Westchester County, and we'll kind of split the difference there. Once we get back over onto Long Island, or over top of Long Island, then we can kind of turn to a 140, and we'll be heading back towards Republic. So that's going to be the plan. It's a 96 mile flight with a couple of modifications that I just made. So 96 miles, and should take us, I think, about an hour. I'm planning a little extra. I put 150 into my fuel planning because I'm planning for a little bit extra fuel, because we might take this a little bit slower than the max cruise speed of the Baron, because when you're going up that corridor, your max cruise is supposed to be 140 knots indicated. Baron tends to go 160 to 170, so we're definitely going to have to throttle it back, and they always say that slower is better when you're in a high-density VFR area like we're going to be. Now, I don't know how high-density it'll be on VATSIM. The good news is we've got plenty of air traffic controllers on. We've got New York Approach, we've got New York Center, and we've got a ground controller at LaGuardia. That's not going to do much for us, but and then there's us sitting there at Republic. So we definitely got air traffic control on, and so this should be a fun one. I posted also in the plan who you should talk to for each of these pieces. Now, obviously, Newark Tower probably won't be staffed. There's a piece where you're talking to Republic Tower. We may or may not have a controller on Republic Tower. Matter of fact, let's see. message to ZNY AS INS. So our friend that we coordinated this with is on, but he's not sure what position he should take in order to interact with us here. So let me send him a message as it's. He asked which ATC position might fit into the puzzle. My response is, yeah, I'm not sure, as it seems a few folks have beat you to the punch. FRG tower, maybe? So, I don't know. But anyway, that's the plan, and let us kind of get started with rolling it out and getting it started, getting it fired up. So we've already kind of we already connected to VATSIM. We've already ran our controls through the ranges, and I've pulled all the levers down. Next thing to do would be to get our fuel load set, and like I said, Windows. No, I don't want to do that. Fuel weight, let's see, what did I calculate? We're going to start, this is going to be a fairly short flight, so we're going to start with 280 pounds, and even that should be overkill. We'll bump the payload weight up so that it's just under the max gross. We'll assume that we're doing a sightseeing tour with a full load of passengers, so there we go, we've got that. Hop back into the airplane. Alright, my friend says approach is only on for an hour, and then he's only covering JFK and Islip anyway. Center's getting ready to leave, so he may hop on tower to get my clearance, and then he'll shift over to approach for my clearance up the Bravo corridor. So I will just get him a message back. That sounds like a plan. Alrighty. There we are. So back to the checklist. We set the fuel load. Let's go ahead and hop back into the airplane, get the yokes out of the way, and start powering up here. We're going to get the battery switch. Beacon nav and panel lights come on. Beacon nav panel. Prop and mix levers can come forward. We will start the engine startup sequence. We're going to do it with the right engine first. Fuel boost pump comes on. Magnetos to both. That gives us electricity. We'll make sure no one's walking around outside of the airplane. We'll fire it up. There we go. All right. What we're going to do is watch and make sure that the temps and pressures. Oil pressure should come up right away. The temperatures often take a few minutes, but they should be headed toward their normal ranges, and once you're assured that they are doing so, then you can get the alternator turned on and the fuel boost pump turned off. Then we repeat the process on the left-hand side. We pass the Dutchie to the left-hand side, get the fuel, get electricity, clear the area, get some motion. And there we go. Again, the oil pressure should come up pretty much right away. See, that's the first one into its green range there in the lower gauges on the right-hand side. Those should jump pretty much immediately into their green ranges. The rest ones will kind of creep up gradually, but once you see them starting to head to their normal ranges, you can go alternator on and fuel boost pump off. Fuel boost pumps are used to start the engines, and then they're used as backup plans while you're taking off and landing. While you're cruising around, they don't need to be on because the engines supply their own fuel pumps. But you never want to fail when you're on short final, so it's good to have a backup running, or just for takeoff and landing when you're low to the ground. Let's see. Next thing is we'll get the avionics master and the prop sync on. And go ahead and get the pitot heat on as well. I like to turn the marker beacon sounds off on the sound panel, the outer marker, middle marker, and inner marker. They let you know when you're on a about 3 mile final, and then about a very short final, and then right over the numbers basically. You don't need those when you can see them in plain sight. You might leave that on if you're on low IFR, but a day like today where we got nice VFR weather, don't need to have those screaming at you. Alright, what's next? We'll make sure our cow flaps are wide open, which they are. Chain Wheel 17, hey, glad you could drop back in. We're gonna do some fun VFR flying over the New York area, and yeah, always want to have a backup plan, because you've seen enough of this stream to know that Plan A can go awry right quickly. All right, our flight plan for today, as far as the network is concerned, probably not a whole bunch to put in here. So my friend is looking for information on our stream. Message YASINS. Okay. Yeah, now he's switching over to Republic Tower, so. Alright, message FRG TWR. Anyway. So he's just looking for the stream link, because he's not only is he going to work air traffic control for us, but he's going to try and pop in and see what's going on. But anyway, while we're waiting for him to do that, let's get the flight plan sent. We are VFR today. We are not a heavy. We are slant alpha, as almost always. Call myself. KFRG. We're coming back to KFRG. We have no alternates. Cruise altitude, I'm just going to put 2,500. We're eventually going to get up to 2,900. Well, we'll just put 2,900. Why not? Yeah. Doesn't really matter. It's VFR. True airspeed, we'll say 170 is fine. Departure is going to be at 840 local. 12.1, so 140 Zulu. Departure time actual, we'll leave blank. Flight time, I'm just going to say 1 hour. I think it'll be a little less than that, honestly, but we'll see how it goes. And then the fuel load, starting fuel load, 2 hours and 26 minutes. And that's just, my spreadsheet calculates an alternate fuel, and then some contingencies, and then a final reserve. So that's why it tends to add a lot in there. It also adds in for taxiing time and stuff like that. It's designed for IFR airliner flight, but for GA stuff, it just tends to add all this, kind of extra fuel that you don't really need. But again, it gives us plenty of extra just in case things should happen to go awry. For the route, I always advocate, if you're on VATSIM, keep it simple. You're not going to be bound to any particular route, so don't file a particular route. Type VFR southbound. That's another clue to the controller that you're VFR, not IFR, and it just kind of helps clue them into the fact that, hey, I'm going to be going to the south, but I'm going to kind of be doing my own thing. You can put certain waypoints in there if you want, but you're not bound to them. So if you decide to kind of deviate to the right or left, or follow a highway or whatever, you're not going to be flying the waypoints that you filed. And VFR, that's absolutely fine. IFR, you have to file a specific path and then follow that specific path. So for VFR flight, I recommend not putting a specific route in. So because there's no purpose in really having it in there. Chain Wheel 17 says, better to have a little too much than not enough. It is something of a delicate balance. Obviously, you don't want to have, the more fuel you put in, the less fuel efficient you are. So the more fuel you put in, the more you burn because of the weight. So yeah, there is a delicate balance. But one, this is flight sim. I'm not paying for this fuel. And then number two, again, it's just a convenience for me, because my spreadsheet just calculates stuff that you would include in a commercial airliner flight, but I just use the same calculations for my GA flights. So for GA flights, I end up taking on a lot of extra fuel that I really probably don't need. And yes, so, and the other thing that piggybacks on what you said is it's the old mantra that you use on every camping trip. It's better to need it and not, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? The other pilot mantra is, what are the 3 most useless things that you can have as a pilot? The air above you, the air in your tanks, the altitude above you, and the runway behind you. Something like that. It's possible that I just made all that up as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and send that. Let's see, do we have our friend back on... Yeah, we have our friend on Republic Tower, so he's got the link now. And we'll get back to what we were doing here. What do we do? We follow the flight plan. I got the pitot heat on. We'll check the... do we have an ATIS? Is he running an ATIS here? No, we'll just check the weather then. The METAR. KFRG says you should have an ATIS on. It's not showing in my controller list. Okay, well, let's look. Yeah, that spy isn't showing it either. Now, of course, that takes a couple minutes to update, but it is not. Not showing an ATIS on there yet. Oops, hang on, he says. Alright, we're going to skip that for the moment. I'm going to go ahead and I'll check the METAR just to get the altimeter. Whoops. Dot METAR. Come on. Dot METAR. Come on. Alright, hang on, guys. While we're waiting for him to get that set up, let me mute the mic for just 1 second, and I'll be right back with you. Hold on 1 moment. Okay, sorry, back with you. Oh, BEAS has checked in. Hello, how are you? And good to talk to you. It's probably going to be easier if you talk to me here rather than on the over the network, because it won't make that video game sound every time you talk to me. Anyway, so we get the ATIS working yet? Let me see. There we are. KFRG ATIS. All right, let's check that out then. And I always do that by text anyway. So let's go ATIS, KFRG _ ATIS. And let's see what we got. There is that video game sound that says I got a private message, and in this case it says information Bravo. Wind 240 at 5, 10 statute miles, clear. 1 and -6, so it's very cold. It's nice because it's nice dense air. We'll get a good climb rate. Let's see. Altimeter is 3012. Let's go ahead and get that set. Yeah, I tend to do the ATIS via text most of the time anyway. It simulates me being able to stay on the voice channel, the voice communications channel, and check the ATIS at the same time. So I usually just do that by text anyway. Let's see, we're landing and departing 19 which is good. That's southbound. That's kind of the direction we want to go anyway, so that's good. And the rest is pretty standard, and we're on information Bravo, so good. We got the altimeter set. We'll check in with Bravo in just a moment. Let me get back to my checklist. I think kind of the next thing to do is get that clearance anyway. Oops. Typing all over my checklist. Let me relock that so I can't screw that all up. Where we go. Okay, so we set the altimeter 3012. The field elevation charted is 80 feet, and that is exactly what's shown on the altimeter, so that is a good cross check to do. We will obtain our clearance, and the tower controller is on 18.8. So let's go ahead and get that tuned in. And we should get that video game sound again once we connect to his voice room. Yep. Good. Let's go back to our page. It's not really going to be an IFR clearance. We're just basically going to get clearance to, well, we're going to get we're going to request a taxi to the active for a VFR southbound departure. Because for Class Delta, all we need to do is communicate with the controller, and we're not going to need a Bravo clearance until we get over here west of Kennedy. So yep, really don't need to say too much more than that. I don't want to troubleshoot the media player library. Please stop asking me. Matter of fact, media player, tell you what, just go away. We don't need you until the end. Republic Tower, Baron 514 Delta Victor with a VFR request. Hello, Republic Tower.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, Republic Tower, go ahead.
Republic Tower, Baron 514 Delta Victor. We're a Beach Baron, Bravo Echo 58. We are looking for a VFR southbound departure. We are going to remain clear of the Bravo for now.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, roger, advise information Bravo and safe position on the field.
Yes, sir. We do have information Bravo aboard, and we are on the west side near the control tower, general aviation parking.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, roger, that's the echo ramp for your future knowledge. Runway 19er, taxi left Alpha, right Alpha 2 Charlie, cross runway 14.
Okay, we're at the echo ramp. We'll go Alpha 2 Charlie, and cross 14 for runway 19er, 514 Delta Victor. Right, so one mistake that I made was I did not have the airport diagram up in front of me, so hopefully I read that back correctly. Alpha 2 Charlie and cross 14, I believe is what he said. Let's get that up in front of me. Okay. So here's where we are. Okay, he called that the echo ramp. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Well, here's what he gave us. Departing off 19, so that's here. We're somewhere in this vicinity. We're gonna go Alpha 2 Charlie, crossing 14. There's 19er. So that's the plan, and away we go. Wanna save it? No, we don't. Out of here. Alrighty. See, we're facing northeast. Let's see, how do we get out of here? I try not to cheat too much and use the overhead view, but I think in this case, we'll follow the yellow line. How's that? Does that sound like a plan? Alright, this seems to lead out, so hopefully that's good. Now, the other thing, we've skipped a few things because we're not IFR today, but there's still a few things that we want to do. We don't have a squawk code, but we do want to put it into mode C with 1200 showing, so we'll do that. Nav and ADF tuners, we don't need anything right now. Should be alpha, hopefully. See a sign. No, don't see a sign. I'm assuming it's alpha. Alright, I need to look at that airport diagram again because it doesn't look like I've got taxiway signs. Okay, well the one that comes in at that angle is alpha 3. So the one that makes the straight right turn should be alpha 2, I guess. Wonder if I didn't install that scenery properly. Let's say it's 14 and 32, so I'm somewhat in the right spot. Alright, what else we need to do here? Set the heading bug to runway 19er, so we'll set the heading bug to 190. Yeah, it's so Chainwheel says it's easy to see how it could be confusing. I'm assuming that the scenery here is supposed to include taxiway signs because I can't imagine that the real airport doesn't have them. But I'm just kind of lining up what I see here with what's on the map. So I believe, let's just draw it real quick for you. As I believe I'm heading northeast. First of all, I'm verifying that with my heading indicator. I'm a 040 heading, so yeah, I'm heading in kind of the right direction. And there's this little pad, and there's a taxiway off to my right. And that does indeed seem to match up with what I see here. So that's I'm going under the assumption that I'm in the right spot. What else? We didn't turn the taxi lights on. Let's do that. And then we'll set flaps on this one. In front of me again, so Charlie, and then it was essentially you get to this intersection, you make the right, and that should be the end of 19er there. There's a whole short line. Guess what I'm going to do? A whole short of it. Oh, look at that. There's a whole short line that says 19er. Okay. Miraculously, ladies and gents, we are in the right spot. So, parking brake on. Let's get the run-up done. Power up. Engine pressures all look good. Test magnetos on the right side. 1, 2, and back to both. Test them on the left side. 1, 2, and back to both. Prop control works. Return to normal. Temps and pressures all still good. Run up complete. Republic Tower, Baron 514 Delta Victor holding short 19, ready to go.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, runway 19 clear for takeoff.
Clear takeoff 19, bearing 514 Delta Victor. Alright, landing lights on. Taxi light off. Strobe on. Fuel pumps on. And here we go. Now I did say once we got airborne. No, I'll tell you what. Let's do the takeoff, and then I'll worry about what we're doing once we get airborne. Did we get flaps 1 set? Yeah, flaps are set and checked. Alright, smoothly power up. Engines responds normally and symmetrically. And we'll set our takeoff power. A little bit of right rudder to keep on the center line, not too much. Airspeed is alive. We're looking for 85 knots to rotate. We got it. And we're off. Gear up. Through 400 feet now, so we'll go flaps up, and we'll power down to 25 and 25. And remember, on this segment, we're only going up to 1,400 feet, so we gotta watch ourselves and just make sure we don't gain too much altitude. We are pitched up for that 100-knot climb. We can pitch up a little aggressively. Nice cold day, so we're getting a pretty good climb right here. And just trying to, well, I've drifted. Nope, I'm wondering my heading still. I just didn't have the heading book set right. Alright, that was 1,500, so let's get back down to 1,400. Let's go 20 and 20. Normally I cruise at 22 and 22, but today we're 20 and 20 just because we're going to keep it a little slower. Alright, so let me go ahead and get the autopilot on. Altitude hold. And we'll go ahead and set that heading bug and get it on the heading as well. Going to get the fuel pumps off as well. Alright, so what's next on the hit parade? We had said what we were going to do. Depart, head southbound, stay under 1,500. We're going to pass the Long Island South Shore, which we're kind of coming up on now.
Transferring out to Victor,
Frequency change approved. Baron 514 Delta Victor, thanks. Go ahead and lean the mix out just a little bit. Get the EGT up. And we can actually pull cow flaps closed a little bit. Alright. So the next thing we've said we were going to do is hit the south shore of Long Island and then head west. We're going to pick up JFK VOR and we're going to fly a 10 DME arc around it. So let's get the VOR tuned from 15-9er. And we can spin it till it centers just so we get a bearing to it, but we're not really doing anything with that. We're really just more looking at the mileage. Alright, so it's kind of that way-ish. Alright, so there's South Shore. We'll go ahead and make our right turn now. More or less due west. And we're still turning 150 knots, 145 knots. So I'm going to back down the power to about 17 and a half there on the manifold pressure. In the meantime, catching up with the chat messages. I apologize, guys. I had my hands full for a second, but Chainwheel 17 was talking about the warbirds on the field. Yeah, so and AS, my friend Anthony, says they're at the American Air Power Museum. Next time I'm up that way, I will definitely have to check that out. And Chainwheel says thanks for the info as well. So yeah, we appreciate that, Anthony, for that insight. Now, just guys, just so you know, PEAS is a virtual friend of mine, Anthony. I never met him in person, but we've worked together on various VATSIM related and flight sim related projects. And he is a real-world private pilot that flies out of Republic Airport, where we just took off from. So he knows this area really well. Should be a wealth of knowledge as far as anything that's going on in the Long Island area, aviation-wise. So, yeah, definitely cool to have him on stream talking to us and letting us know what's going on over here. I'm just going to run through my takeoff and cruise checklist and make sure I didn't miss anything. The takeoff time was right around 8:40, so I might have missed it by a minute or two, but we're pretty much on that estimate. At cruise, we adjust our mix, we did the cow flaps, and then set the power, which we've done, and we monitor these cylinder head temps. Cylinder head temps are actually a little low. We can pull those cow flaps closed a little more. Now the goal was to pick up the 10 DME arc of the Kennedy VOR, and then we're going to stay south of Kennedy by flying that DME arc around the south end of that. And that's going to keep us out of this ring of the Bravo. Oops. I didn't want to move that. It's going to keep us out of this ring of the Bravo, where we would have to be talking to the controller at above 500 feet. So we're going to stay at 14, and we're going to be below this slice here that starts at 15. But once we get around to this point here, at 210 off of Kennedy, 240 off of Kennedy, then we'll pretty much proceed straight to the bridge from there. So there's 10 DME, and we want to get on a perpendicular course. So there we go. And if you fly a DME arc on an approach, this is basically the same concept. You get your bearing to the station, which might be an NDB, might be a VOR, might be an ILS. Most often a DME arc's got to be on VOR because you need this bearing to the station. But then you find that bearing, you fly a perpendicular course, and then you use that perpendicular action there, the angle, and the DME itself to determine how to correct to stay on that arc and that constant distance. So obviously if you're flying a path that's a constant distance from a single point, what is that? That's called a circle. So, an arc is just a part of a circle. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a circle, a 10-mile circle around Kennedy VOR. And we're using just a little bit of knowledge of geometry in order to stay on that. Once that bearing, let's see, we want to get out to a 240 outbound radial. So that means the needle's going to point to 060. So once we get to that point, we'll be proceeding direct to the Verrazano Bridge, and we'll be talking to air traffic control to get our clearance to enter that corridor. That's Skyline route. Now that controller right now is on 128.12. So I'm going to go ahead and tune him now. But I'm told, if you caught this earlier part of the stream, that that controller might not be sticking around. So for right now, that's the frequency, but we'll monitor what goes on VATSIM, and the question of who we need to talk to might change. So again, every few minutes you want to adjust that needle, get it to the point where it centers and it's straight off to your right, and then adjust your course, your heading rather, to to keep that perpendicular course. And if your DME is above the arc that you're flying, you need to correct to the inside. You need to correct a little right of the perpendicular course on a clockwise arc. And if you're too close, if you're like 9.5, you kind of could correct to the outside of the arc, or you can just kind of go straight and wait for the arc to curve back into you. I'll draw that for you real quick.
Delta 2120, fly heading 040, descend maintain 7000.
040 on the heading down 7000, 21 point.
So the way it works is, if you're flying to the outside of that arc, then you need to correct kind of aggressively to get back on it. Okay? If you're flying to the inside of the arc, stay straight and the arc is going to curve back in and pick you up. So just adjusting there. 10.5 miles, we can correct a little bit to the inside. And again, once we get around, so we're kind of at a, where are we now? We're pretty much direct due south of the Kennedy VOR right now. So we are, so here's Kennedy VOR. We're kind of, and of course it's tilted a little bit because it's magnetic variation, so we're kind of here-ish. And when we get around to this 240 out kind of that way, that's when we should pick up the bridge and head straight there. That's also when we're going to go ahead and request clearance to do the Skyline route. Bearing's changing kind of quickly. You have to stay on top of it here. I don't know if we can quite see. Like I said, I did install a package that should have some of these landmarks. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see it though. Time will tell. Centered, get that course changed. So as we bank, you can kind of see a little bit better. There should be a bridge over there somewhere. That might be, yeah, I don't know how well the bridge is represented, but we'll see. 10.8, we need to kind of correct a little bit more aggressively to the inside of that arc there. Getting a little farther out on the arc than we intended to.
Marshal 06 heavy near departure. Good evening. We're cleared to
starting to get the city in sight here.
Departure. Straight out vector merit limit 5. Maintain 5,000. Expect 5,000. 010 minutes after departure. Departure with me Fox 1577.
Alright, we're clear to Stockholm via Kennedy 5 departure, merit transition. Initial time 5,000, expect level 390, 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 157.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to adjust my eye point up so I can see a little better. That might help us. There we go.
Expect runway 2 to right to departure.
Scoot up this a little more.
3014.
I am in the real world a little bit of a tall person, so that's not that unrealistic to do.
Right, and worldwide ready taxi.
So at this point, I'm basically going to head straight toward that that opening there, but with the VOR pretty much off of that 240 or 060 inbound bearing. this is pretty much the point where I want to report and start following that Skyline route. New York approach, Baron 514 Delta Victor with VFR request. He needs the answer before we get up there.
For Delta Iconic departure, clearing, stay in position.
Yes, Baron 514 Delta Victor. We're 10 miles southwest of Kennedy, and we're at Beach Baron at 1400, requesting clearance for the northbound Skyline route at 1500.
Number 514 Delta Victor, contact me on 372-513.
2532, Baron 514 Delta Victor. Okay, well that's going to be our friend Anthony. And we got to get this in real quick because we're coming up on that shelf. New York Center, Baron 514 Delta Victor, 10 miles southwest of Kennedy, Beach Baron at 1400, requesting Skyline route northbound 1500.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, New York Center, Kennedy, altimeter 3014, remain clear to Bravo airspace, squawk 034 I
Remain clear and you cut out on the squawk.
Squawk 0324 and I go. Mooney 6142, turn right heading 110 Kennedy, altimeter 3014, expected approach from Lake 2 left.
Alright, tell you what, he hasn't radar identified us yet. We've got to turn. We're gonna make sure we're staying out of this Bravo.
United 53 to maintain 10,000, body altimeter 3012.
Kind of spin that just to see where we are in relation to the VOR. But he's got a couple other planes to deal with. We can't have that Bravo until we get that clearance. So we're just gonna kind of head south. Stay out of that shelf. And then as soon as we get that.
Mooney 142, verify your right turn heading 130, right turn 130. I'll right you on 130, 142.
Air Center Delta 663, could we stop our climate flight level 300?
Delta 663, Thunder, maintain level 300.
300, thank you very much.
So basically at this point we're kind of spinning around just to make sure we're staying out of the Bravo until he gets his freighter identified. Just to make sure.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, radar contact 1,400, 5 south of Arizona Bridge. Cleared into the New York Bravo airspace, maintain VFR 1,500. And the Newark altimeter 3013.
3013, cleared into the Bravo 1,500, direct of Arizona Bridge at this time, Baron 514 Delta Victor. Alright, let's get turned around. Hopefully we'll see the bridge. We do know it's kind of going to be our northwest. And we'll just follow the river.
Mooney 6142, stay altitude.
Yeah, so not much to see as far as a bridge there, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's the bridge. So in real life, the Arizona Bridge is a little bit more impressive than that. But there it is.
American 2772, contact Washington, Center 13.
And I will say the same thing, I said the same thing about the bridge, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge down at down east of Annapolis, Maryland. That the bridge itself was not that well represented. And we do need to climb to that
Over to
1,500
Washington,
feet,
yeah.
so we'll do that. Power up just a little bit. And then once we get up to that 1,500 feet, we'll pop it back into altitude mode. Right, and we kind of want to hug the eastern shore of the river here. That's the thing to do when you're northbound. So that's on this chart here. The New York, where is it? Skyline. Where are you? Where are you? New York Skyline. Yeah, we are.
United 53, descend and maintain 7.
So see the red arrows face northbound on the eastern shore, and the red arrows face southbound on the western shore. So that's what we should do, is kind of stay to the east. And hopefully we'll see some of these landmarks. Yeah, we definitely are seeing some good buildings over here. You know, in this city skyline itself, which is kind of cool. I don't quite see the Statue of Liberty. Let's adjust our heading to the right. Now you notice I did not offer to hand fly this. There's
Around the 18, New York Center, good afternoon. Parallel heading 020, vector island 22
There's
left.
enough to do. Enough to keep yourself busy with. Is that Statue of Liberty there? Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. Let me get turned and stay on this eastern shore here, and then I'll zoom in and get you a better view of that.
And Columbia 18, parallel heading 020, descend maintain 1 more time.
So I'm going to pop up in the seat like I'm stretching up just to see over the dash. Just get you a nice view of the statue there. Nicely done. Nicely done, X-Plane. Of course, it's a freeware VFR package I installed on top of X-Plane, but still. Come on, guys. That's awesome, isn't it? That'd be the Jersey side over there to the left. And the Manhattan skyline over here to the right, which looks just gorgeous.
United 53, come left heading 090.
Sit back down in the seat. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So again, and I'll see if I can maybe pull it up. What did I do? I forget exactly what I did. I think I just Googled like X-Plane. Yeah, there we go. Scenery New York Skyline Route. And this is what popped up. New York City VFR Scenery Package. So you want to put this into your X-Plane installation. That's what I did.
United 53, approximately 3.
Now, while I'm doing this, the other thing I had said was the next part of the plan was to follow the river all the way up to the north, and then we're going to tune the LaGuardia VOR 113.1. So get this set here while there's not too much new to look at out the window.
Tower 4 Delta Victor, how far up?
514 Delta Victor, we're going to take the whole route all the way up to the north end.
Tower 4 Delta Victor, understand up to the Alpine Tower.
That's affirmative, sir.
Tower 4 Delta Victor,
So yeah, let me show you these reporting points, VFR reporting points on this route. Sky Vector. So we got the Verrazano Bridge, which we kind of call Statue of Liberty. We got One World Trade Center, which is just about off to our right-hand side now, I think. Yep. There it is, with that spire on top. Get that back here. You got the Holland Tunnel. I'm not sure whether you can see those or not. Of course, they're below the windscreen now. Empire State's heading off to the right. It's kind of buried in that clutter there, but it's there. What else we got? Further up, we got the USS Intrepid, which might be below us at this point. I'm going to do something I don't often do. I'm going to cheat a little bit. that view, it looks like I'm not really staying on that eastern shoreline real well either. So let's get back over to the right. So don't quite see the Intrepid. What's the next one?
Down Fort Delta Victor, body altimeter 3014.
3014, Fort Delta Victor. That up. All right. So the next one is the next big one is the GW Bridge, which is that there. That's a much nicer model than the Verrazano. Let's see. Yeah, GWB, that's George Washington Bridge. We might see Yankee Stadium to the right. I'm not sure how well that is modeled.
Marine 40 up center.
Is that it there?
Afternoon. Climb and maintain.
That might be it.
7,000.
I can't quite tell.
New York Center, Mountain 568 with you.
Make sure we're staying over the east,
Mountain 568, New York
east
Center.
side. And then the one he was talking about reporting that they basically they refer to this route as going from the Verrazano Bridge, which is where we came in, the bridge that wasn't really there, and
Repeat
the
from Mountain
north edge
568,
of this is the
copy.
Alpine Tower,
Mountain
which is
568, New York Center. Kennedy,
that
altimeter
monstrosity. I would
3016.
assume.
Altimeter 3016, Mountain 568, copy,
I
thank
don't
you.
know. We'll
You're welcome. United 53, turn left heading 050, descend and maintain 4.
yeah, I don't know how well we're gonna see that if it's modeled or not. Don't know if it's modeled or not, but we also know that it's right around the 11 DME arc of LaGuardia. So once we get up to that 11 DME arc, right there, and we know we're kind of
Reinforce the altitude.
kind of at the north end, so we can use that as a reporting point if we don't actually see the tower. We're at 5.7 DME from LaGuardia right now, and we're kind of traversing almost
Marine
perpendicular
4
to it, so that DME is not going to change too much for the moment.
Closest airport actually ended here, so if you want, you can land back to Kennedy.
So Central Park right here, right?
American 450 to New York Center, good evening. Marine 4
And then you get
maintain
up into,
3000 stable and
North end of Manhattan Island,
turn left
and
heading 070.
Harlem, and then start getting up into, you start seeing, well, we're gonna, oh, there's Yankee Stadium, right? Is that it? Yeah, there you go. So there's the Bronx, home of the Bronx Bombers.
Turn right heading 310. Maintain
That should put
3000
Central
and
Park
direct
kind of
to
over our
the-
right shoulder here. See? What did I do? I'm not sure how I got outside of the airplane, guys. But let's do
VFR,
this.
right?
Okay, hey, there we go.
Alright,
I don't know what I did there,
heading
but it was cool.
310 to the near Bravo airspace, maintain VFR street.
This, yeah, I don't know what happened to my QuickBooks. This should be like an over the shoulder between the seats, and that's not working today. Now we're over the, is that the GW that we're over top
United
of right now?
53, flighting 070,
Yeah.
descend maintain 3000.
Yeah, very cool though, very cool. I'm kind of manually doing there. There we go. There we go. Very nice, very nice. So again, we're gonna get up where that Alpine Tower is at about 11 DME to LaGuardia. But right now, like I said, we're kind of okay. Okay, well, it's over our right shoulder now, so we'll start gaining some distance from it. At the time we were perpendicular, we weren't really getting any closer or farther from LaGuardia. Now that it's past us, it's over our right shoulder just a touch. You know, we'll start going up the road there.
Down
So
toward Alpha
6.1.
Victor, you looking for advisory there for the Skyline?
Negative. You can, yeah, we'll go ahead then back to VFR after we exit the corridor.
Down toward Alpha Victor, left.
Let's see.
TBM 211 Hotel expected at approximately 27, right?
TBM 211 runway 27, right?
So while we're kind of past all the really cool
Darren,
parts of the scenery,
correction, TBM 11 Hotel, that's from the expected visual.
we should be looking for the Alpine Tower up here, but like I said, I don't know how well it's modeled. I'm assuming it would be out on this point, probably. But I don't know that for sure. But we know it's going to be right around where that 11 DME arc crosses. So we're 8 miles.
Marine 4 heading
It's
340.
It's over our right shoulder, so we're almost tracking, not quite directly away from it, but away from it enough that it's not going to be that much further. So I would assume that the Alpine Tower is probably on that peninsula right there.
Maintain 8,000, TBM 1.
And once we pass that 11 DME arc, the plan is we can go ahead and there's the TAC chart. Your TAC.
6142, Panama heading 060.
Now, as we turn right
On
there,
your left, you're 60.
this chart says we're in an area that's 70 to 3,000 feet.
United 53 to
If we go back to this chart, that still says 70 to 15. Oh, okay, that's pointing to in here. Okay. So yeah, once we get past that 11 DME arc,
Columbia 18, turn right heading 09.
we can climb up to 2,900 feet, and then we'll follow the 12 DME arc, 13 DME arc around the
American
east,
452 to
and that'll point us back towards Republic.
American
Who dat?
452
Who dat?
to maintain throttle.
Vanilla Bean is following us now. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for man or woman. I don't mean to make assumptions. If you're watching a flight sim stream, most likely man, but hey, you know. Odds are in my favor on that one.
The Alpine Tower, leaving the New York Bravo space at this time. You're in clear the Bravo space. Register terminated. Change the flight. Code squawk VFR. Have a look. Good day.
We'll squawk VFR and frequency change approved. Baron 514 Delta Victor. Thanks. Alright, so back to
United
1200.
53, turn left heading 320.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Alpine Tower should be somewhere around here, but it's just not. I guess it's not.
Left to 040, 6142.
So we're going to continue to follow the river just until we get. Oh, we're past that 11 DME. So we can go ahead and climb now to 39. What did I say? 2,900 feet. Let's get powered up. 22 and 22, just for a nice gentle climb. We're not at full power today. But Vanilla Bean, hey, thanks for the follow, and hope you'll check us out. We normally do Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then every other Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mostly general aviation flying on the VATSIM network. And I try to explain what's going on. Oh, Vanilla Bean, I just now saw your message, too. He sent the stream into the New York ARTC Discord and said, someone who knows what they're doing on the Skyline route is a beautiful thing. I wouldn't go so far as to say I know what I'm doing. But I certainly did my best, and I do know how to read charts. And, yeah, so hopefully we did okay, and I'm sure Anthony would have told us otherwise. So, yeah, appreciate you checking in, man. So we're now north of that 13 DME arc. Let's go ahead and get turned and get back on that 13th DME because I want to miss
Marine 4,
the.
Roger. Quick approach, runway 4 left. They're taking 4 left.
I don't want to get too far north of that arc because I don't want to hit this Westchester class Delta. I don't want to bust that Delta. Vanilla Bean says, I don't know the N90 airspace and I'm a Philly controller, but it looks like I did it well. Well, I hope so. And I appreciate you checking us out, man. I tell you what, Saturday, we're going to make another stab. I've already made several attempts. But Saturday, we're going to try another stab at the Los Angeles Class Bravo transitions. Los Angeles, VATSIM Los Angeles has an event going on Saturday. So they'll have ATC up and running. And so we're going to try one of their Bravo transitions. The last couple times I've tried that, we just wound up in weather that wouldn't permit it to sometimes hilarious results. But we'll give that another stab on Saturday. That's going to be the next stream. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to join us for that, we'll see how that goes. Vanilla Beans, that sounds like fun. Well, God, I hope so. All right, now that we're up where we want to be, we can go ahead and throttle back down. We'll go 17.5 and 20 as our reduced cruise for today. Just
So 0, 450. Marine 4 touching, 3 touching go, runway 4 left.
open up the cow flaps just a touch. It looks like the engines were running just a little hot here, up here, the cylinder head temps. Cylinder head temps were running just a little bit hot, so I pulled those cow flaps back open just a little bit.
TBN 211 Hotel, I'm sorry, did you say you had Philly in place?
No, not yet.
But anyway, back onto the 13 DME arc, which we are now just slightly inside of. And Anthony, I know you're busy, but if you do get a chance to hear this and respond to it, I hear that you promoted our stream amongst your New York ARTCC colleagues, and man, I certainly do appreciate it. Anything that any of you guys, I am not like a good marketing guy, so I do my best to have fun here and make it entertaining and make it informational and educational and mostly fun. But all those things. But anything you guys can do to help me get the word out about what we're doing and how much fun we have, I definitely appreciate it. We did recently just become an official Twitch affiliate because we've the last month or so we have seen a few more viewers than what I was used to having. I've been doing this 6 months now, but just within the last month started to get a real good rhythm going as far as a consistent schedule, and started to see some more folks pop in to check us out. So we are officially a Twitch affiliate now, which I think is awesome. It doesn't mean much for me really, except a little bit of a pat on the shoulder and a little bit of status. So other than that, it doesn't really mean much. I'm not trying to make money on doing this for sure. It's just for fun. But the recognition or of the ability to achieve the milestones that you have to do in order to get that status, certainly flattering to know that we were able to do that. So hope you guys brought your air sickness bags, because it looks like we're getting tossed around quite a bit. What I think I'm going to go ahead and do is, since we're now kind of headed back, we're getting over Oyster Bay here, and we're starting to head back in the direction of Republic Airport. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to go ahead and drop a little altitude here and hopefully get into a little smoother air once we get closer toward the surface.
Downwind, I'll call your base. Marine 4, extend downwind, I'll call your base.
But yeah, we're getting really kind of punched around here a little bit.
Louis 142 Kennedy at your 9 10 o'clock and 10, I'll give you a
And the reporting point for 10 miles out from Republic was going to be 090 radial on LaGuardia.
Marine 4, you shouldn't be coming, sir. You should be established on a downwind leg and keeping it on it. I got traffic. You can't do your own thing.
So once the arrow points west, and
Marine
we're
4,
still in
please
that
advise
13,
for
then we'll be 10 miles out from Republic. Looks like the air's a little smoother here, so I'm going to go ahead and level out at 2,000. New York Center sounds like he's having just a bit of an issue. Always nice when the air traffic
Turn left to 270.
listens and follows instructions.
TVM 211 Hotel, New York Center. Are you still on the frequency?
Alright, so we're now finally kind of established on that 13 DME arc. So let's get re-established on it, get the arrow pointed to the station,
Columbia 18, runway
the heading
left,
turned perpendicular, kind of getting a little of that turbulence again.
Marine 4, I'm going to need you to remain clear of all controlled airspace so you can control your plane. There's too many people that are flying. Just fly west of Newark, and I suggest you try and find an airport uncontrolled facility. Columbia 18, advise traffic is exit 12 o'clock in 9 miles opposite direction. Seems to be at 1,077. Marine 4, if you could proceed west about 10 miles, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that's one thing I always say, and of course I don't really know.
2614.
I'm only basing what I'm hearing from the controller's aspect of it, but
Oh, that's affirmative.
when you're on VATSIM and you're going to try and fly in controlled area, you got to be able to know how to hold a heading and follow basic instructions. So, I mean, it's definitely a learning environment, and you're encouraged to fly and learn. But if you're given an instruction you don't know how to follow, you got to ask for clarification. You can't just do your own thing. Infinite Flight. Hey, thanks for checking us out. Appreciate it.
North Shuttle 706, runway heading
So,
actually 4,450.
yeah, if you're given an instruction and you don't know what to do with it, you got to ask for clarification, because once you start just doing whatever you want to do, it's destroying the fun for everybody else. So.
06017,000 North Shuttle 706.
Alright, so I think we're below the worst of the turbulence now. And what we're doing is we're following a 13 DME arc around LaGuardia until we get due east of it. So when the arrow points to the west, and we're 13 miles east of that.
99 heavy with you, descending, I'm at 50.
And we're pretty much going to turn 140 and be directly inbound to Republic Airport, and that's where we're heading
Expecting
today.
visual 22 left, you know 99 heavy.
Don't quite see it yet. It should be about 10 miles in front of us. Maybe a little bit to the left, but I don't quite see it yet, so we'll keep looking for it.
Okay, Marine 4, you wanted to essentially land as a helicopter. Do you have a position on the field that you want to come to, or do you want to land on the runway?
Alright, so as soon as he gets that exchange with Mr. Marine 4 sorted out, we'll start he may even decline to do Delta services at Republic just because he's a little busy.
Roger, we have Delta on board, you know 99 heavy.
North Shuttle 7006, please direct Merritt.
Alright, so
Alright, Merritt, North Shuttle.
we're now on that 13 DME arc, dead due east of the VOR, so let's turn to that 140. We should be heading directly toward the airfield at that point. And we do need to check in and let him know, because we got to establish communication in order to enter that Class Delta area. And I sure as heck don't see an airport out there, but maybe spoken too soon. Is that it? That looks like it. Yeah, I think that might be an
Roger,
airport.
just down. I'll have cleaners for you shortly.
Let's pull them
Do you have the
into
weather
real quick.
tomorrow, Sam, if you need?
KFRG. 270 at 5, so we want that probably 2-3.
North Shuttle 7006, contact Boston.
Or, I'm sorry,
134.7.
The 3-2, I guess.
47 in Boston. We'll see you.
3014 is the altimeter. We'll get that set.
Have a great day. Marine 4, do you have
Oops.
the weather tomorrow, Sam?
3014, we already have that set. So let's go back to the airport diagram. Yeah, winds are 270, so we probably want this runway 32, and we're pretty much on a downwind for it, so.
Marine 4, Morristown weather 01540 weather wind.
Yeah, and that's runway 14 right there. So if we just stay downwind, and we'll do left downwind the 32, we can kind of just do that from right where we are.
Generally parking by taxiway Juliet, the signature flight support just south of the tower. Is that going to be good for you? Marine 4 landing at signature at your own risk and report landing short.
Yes, I'm getting back 137 heavy with you. Direct
American 137 EX Center, we're good on that, fly maintain close, 400.
no navigation.
New York Center, Baron 5-1.
Happy to set maintain at the Niners zone.
Down to 9,003.99 heavy.
New York Center, Baron 514 Delta Victor South, 6 miles northwest of Republic, inbound, making a left downwind 32. Are you providing services there?
Baron 514 Delta Victor, affirmative from your position, enter a 3-mile right base runway 19.
3-mile right base, 19 and 514 Delta. Alright, well that's not what we were planning on doing, but that's okay. We'll turn left.
568, greater service terminated, change advisory, frequency approved, walk VFR, have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you for your services, Mount 568.
And we'll go ahead and fly for real.
Columbia 18, taxi
Autopilot
parking,
and
cross
flight
runway
director
60 right,
off.
monitor this frequency, have a nice day.
Fuel pumps on.
Delta 1760, 40 up with you.
Let's see, runway heading is 190. So right base would be kind of this way-ish. Let's just swap that out so it becomes a solid arrow. There we go. Alright, field elevation is 80 feet, so say 100 round
United
figures.
99 Heavy heading 270, back up on the field from 787.
270 down to 7,000, United 99 heavy.
Alright, let's get slowed. Gear down to flaps.
Delta 1760, 40 up center, heading 040, set maintain 11,000, out at 3016, vector
There's the end of the runway is just to the right of that white hangar there.
11,000, conditions full. Delta 1764, and expected dispatch runway 24. State reservation selection, 24.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Baron 4 Delta Victor, wind 2705, runway 100.
Clear line 19, Baron 514 Delta Victor. Alright, I see it. And we go flaps 2. all red lights, so we'll just kind of level off here until we get back on glide slope.
United 99 Heavy, turn right heading 310 to maintain 3000.
Right turn 310 down to 3000, United 99 Heavy.
A little bit of a curveball on the runway and use a 270 wind. I would have thought 3-2 would be active, but nope. They want 19, they get 19. Why not? Okay, there's one white, so we can start start getting down here. Gear screen, flaps set and checked. 85 knot final. Say your last prayers. And now we're a little high. So a right turn off if we land, and a visual pattern if we go missed, I'm sure. And boy, my center line control is really lacking right now.
American 137, contact Washington Center 133.7.
There we go.
Go to Washington.
There we go. Okay, we're okay.
Delta 1764 to center maintain 710.
There we are. Gonna stow the flaps. Get this next right turn off up
Baron 4
here.
Delta Victor, stay destination.
We'll go back to Echo Ram 514 Delta Victor.
Baron 4 Delta Victor, right Bravo 4, right Bravo, left Alpha to Echo, and monitor this frequency.
Right Bravo 4, right Bravo, left Alpha to Echo Ram 514 Delta Victor. Thanks.
United 99 Heavy, heading 280.
Ready.
Left turn 280, United 99 Heavy.
And off we are. Alright, so off the runway. Let's make my right turn here. Then we'll start working on that stuff. Stowed the flaps already. Get the fuel pumps off. Down here and get the taxi light on, landing lights off. Strobe light off. Get pitot heat off. Not too bad, guys. Not too bad. It was, tell you what, the scenery was pretty cool looking, I thought. And again, that was a freeware package that I popped into the next plane. I wish it had a better Verrazano bridge. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you working with us tonight, bud. That was a cool idea, man. I'm glad for that. So I wish the scenery had a little bit better of a Verrazano bridge, and of course we never did see the Alpine Tower. But other than that, it had a lot of really cool landmarks, and it was a beautiful, breathtaking flight, and a neat little challenge, a little something I'd never done before. So it worked out pretty well, and the landing wasn't horrible. Not the most stable descent and approach, but I kind of threw that together at the last minute. I was expecting to do a left downwind of 1 or 3-2, but yeah, always love a last minute curveball, keep me on my toes. So yeah, overall fun, good flight, happy with it, worked out well. So I do want to just run through my arrival checklist, just make sure I'm not missing anything, and we'll get the cow flaps the rest of the way open. Go ahead and yeah, we did lean the mix out, so that's
Delta
good.
1764 to center maintain 4000.
Stowed the flaps, landing lights off, strobe lights off, taxi lights on. I did fuel pumps. Yep, okay. So we got all the
Delta 1764 to
all the
center
key
maintain
players here.
4000.
I'm gonna go ahead and make this left turn on Alpha. Of course, we're back here where
United 99 is
I apparently did not have any taxiway signs, so we'll kind of just wing it. Assuming that's a runway up ahead, so this has got to be Alpha here.
United 99
Yeah,
Heavy.
so this was
don't
also-
have it yet. It's a little foggy up here, but I'll tell you when it's in sight.
United 99, would you
I got him in
prefer
sight.
the ILS approach?
I would prefer the
So
ILS
yeah,
approach,
this
actually.
this
down at
airport, Republic Airport,
United
was
30,
also
United
a
99 heavy
freeware
release,
scenery
180,
package, but
turn
this
right
one
heading
does not seem to
330
have,
pounds
unless
left.
it didn't install properly.
Right turn 320 down to 180
Does not seem to have
knots.
taxiway signs, so I'm kind of guessing at my location. But yeah, I think this is kind of where we came out, or close enough. So we'll go in here and we'll get parked, and then we'll check our fuel and ETA.
1764, expect the ILS runway.
And I think we did pretty close. I had said that I think the initial estimate was like 48 minutes, but I went ahead and bumped it up to an hour because I thought we'd go a little slower than normal. So I think my estimated touchdown time was 9:40 and blocks 9:45. So we're just a little bit ahead of that, actually. And then I think we'll probably have more fuel than what my chart says as well. I'm showing a calculated end fuel of 144 pounds. So when we get parked here, get shut down, we'll check and see how we did in comparison to that.
Delta 1764 at 4,000, reduced speed.
But no, that was a lot of fun. That was a good time. Alright, let's just the only twin
United
here.
99 heavy 6 miles from south, will turn left heading
Sky off
2,000,
land here.
2,000 to establish on the localizer cleared ILS runway 2 left approach.
Okay.
United
Let's
99 heavy
go ahead and
rail,
shut
turn
it
left
here. What do I say?
250, maintaining 2,000 for ILS to 2 left approach.
Alright, so taxi lights off. Go ahead and check the fuel load here. Weight and balance. I said 144, and what do we got? 168. Wow. We had a little extra, but not that much extra. So again, the calculations on this spreadsheet work out pretty well. I continue to be pleased with that. So let's get the shutdown done. We've already got the transponder mode back to 1200. We can turn it off. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and disconnect
United
from VATSIM
99
at
heavy
this point.
Kennedy Tower, 19-1. Have a good day.
Disconnect.
United.
Alright. Fuel and mix levers can come down. Magnetos can come off. Cow flaps will close. We just leave them that way on the ramp just to keep the rain out. Beacon lights can come off. Nav and panel lights can come off. Prop sync can come off. Avionics, generators, and the battery. Alright, how do we feel? Worked out? Oops, sorry about that. So, yeah, I thought that was good. I thought that was a fun flight. And like I said, the precursor is, this could be seen as a precursor for Saturday, which, you know, like I had said before, is going to be another attempt at the Los Angeles Bravo transition routes. Last couple times I've tried that, it hasn't worked out too well for me, just because the weather hasn't been cooperative. But, yeah, but this Saturday we'll see what I haven't looked at a forecast for Los Angeles for Saturday, but we'll check that out and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's kind of similar to the Skyline route here. It's you know, it's a charted route that you follow that's listed on the back of a TAC chart, and you know, and it gives you certain radials that you have to fly, certain altitudes, and all that sort of thing. So, so that's how that works, and we'll give that a whirl. But anyway, in the meantime, I do appreciate you checking us out tonight. We had a lot of fun, and I learned quite a bit, and you know, I think really challenged myself with this one. You know, did something like I said that I haven't done before. So, man, I just can't seem to get the end music going. Come on, man. You gonna open this thing or not? Yeah, all right, well, maybe I won't have end music to talk over today. Try it one more time. All right, forget it. But wouldn't be a slant alpha stream if something didn't go horribly wrong at some point, right? So I guess the only thing that went horribly wrong is the ending music. Then I didn't do so bad. But anyway, so yeah, join us on Saturday. Yeah, we're just all right. I'll hum you something. Join us on Saturday. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday, and it's a VATSIM event over in the virtual Los Angeles airspace. And I don't even know what they've got going on, but it's going to be an opportunity for us to get online with controllers up, and we'll give another stab at one of those Bravo transition routes over in Los Angeles. So join us then, Saturday 8 p.m. The normal schedule for the stream is Saturdays and Sundays 8 p.m. And let's see if we can open this with something else. I'm just annoyed. You know what? Let's open it with Audacity. Just sounds so bare with me talking over nothing. What is this? Alright, you get out of the way. Where are you? Where are you? Documents. There we are. Of course, it's going to come blasting in. Yeah. There we are. Okay, hopefully y'all are hearing that. Oh no, it's just coming over my speakers. Stop. No? No, not going to cooperate? Okay. Alright, well anyway. So, yeah, we'll get that solved for next time. Vanilla Bean says I should come fly at Philly. I'll tell you what, Vanilla Bean, if you want to check the schedule out, there's a handful of days that I don't have topics lined up for yet. So I'll tell you what, I'll look through and see if there's a good day going that I don't have something lined up for, and I'll get in touch with you guys, and we'll see if we can set something up where I can do some flying around the Philly area. Matter of fact, I think I do have the Mid-Atlantic ortho scenery installed, just the Mid-Atlantic block, but I think that might even include Philly. So we might be able to do some cool sightseeing around the city of Philadelphia if we do that. So yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind, and maybe touch base with you guys. If you want to hit me up, there's plenty of ways you can do it. You can get on the YouTube channel and comment, or hit me on Facebook or Twitter. And then the Discord link is there on the lower right. I don't run the Discord while I'm flying because I've got enough distractions going on, but you can certainly touch base with me in between streams, and we can figure something out as far as a day where we can do some Philly flying and get you guys on to work with us on the ATC side. So we'll touch base on that. But in the meantime, touch base with us and let us know. And hopefully we'll see you guys again Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which will be 0100 Zulu on Sunday, when we'll do some Bravo transitions in the Los Angeles area. Again, I appreciate you guys checking us out tonight, and hope we'll see you soon. In the meantime, please do travel safely in your own adventures, and we'll talk to you next time.